let's get to the one and only Philippe J. Fournier. 338canada.com, Macleans contributor, Actualité contributor, and he knows his polls. Philippe, thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning, Elias.
So can you just correct me if I'm wrong? So now you're the one who's commissioning these things, right? Because I looked at the poll and it said Main Street 338 Canada.
That's right. It is Main Street Research who did the poll, but I'm the one who ordered it. And so I think it was a good time now that Denis Coderre is all but ready to announce that he will run for mayor. I wanted to set the stage and see what the score was. Basically at the starting line. What is the landscape right now in municipal politics in Montreal? And I want to also have a snapshot of the satisfaction rate of Mayor Plante and the positive or negative impressions of Mr. Coderre. So yeah, I just wanted to know basically.
Set the stage for our listeners. So what did you find out?
Okay, so very interesting numbers. I do have some reservations about some other numbers, but let's get into it. Mayor Plante has actually really good numbers. 54% of Montreal voters say they are satisfied with her handling of her job as mayor since she started 3.5 years ago. That's a really good number for any politician. Any politician would love to have such a high satisfaction number. However, when we look at Coderre's numbers, we ask the question, do you have a positive or negative impression of Denis Coderre? His numbers are even better. It's 61% of Montrealers who have a favorable impression of Denis Coderre, and only 25% who have an unfavorable impression. And so we have in this race something that I think is rare, is two candidates who, of course, they have their opponents and they have their detractors, but generally in the polls, they're doing really well. Both are generally liked by Montrealers. And so when we go into voting intentions, well, this is where it gets interesting. Denis Coderre is leading 40% to 24% against Valérie Plante, but there's still 25%, and that's massive, 25% of undecided voters in this race. So it really could go any way right now.
Philippe J. Fournier, we're with Philippe J. Fournier from 338canada.com. Philippe, I'm not surprised, and I've said it on this show. I've lived in Montreal my whole life, and the history of Montreal for me is bad mayor after bad mayor after bad mayor, and then honestly, in the last decade, I look at 4 years of Coderre, and I look now at 4 years of Valérie Plante. I think and I've said it on this show, what Montrealers are facing come this November is a choice between two good options. It's the visions that are different. Like at the end of the next 4 years, we'll end up with different cities. But I think most Montrealers think, well, you know what, Valérie Plante's a good person. Denis Coderre, good person. I don't know how I'll vote, but so it doesn't surprise me that the ratings for Valérie Plante and how she's done her job, the ratings for Denis Coderre and if he's likable, really doesn't surprise me. It's the vibe that I have when I look at this situation.
And you're not wrong. I mean, that's what basically the poll says. And I would add also that Denis Coderre has, he's been out of the media eye for a few years now. But he's also started a mega media tour lately. He's done all the talk shows. He will be on Tout le monde en parle on Sunday night. He's releasing his book. And so when we look at these numbers and we compare them to 2017, when Coderre led a very dispirited campaign and he was grumpy all the time, I think it's a changed man, and the numbers show that Montrealers have noticed. But then again, when we look at the voting intentions, there's a quirk in this poll, and I've shared this with the readers. When we look at the voting intentions per age, 35 and over, it's a virtual tie. 35 and over, it's 42% for Denis Coderre and 40% for Mayor Plante. So it's a toss-up. But the younger voters in this poll, and this is where it's very strange, the 18 to 34%, Coderre has a massive 40-point lead.
Amongst people that don't vote generally.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They usually vote in lesser numbers, and Coderre leads them on that demographic. So it's a double-edged sword. You're happy to be leading, although I don't think that lead is that wide. This may be an outlier in the data. But when you look at the 65 and over living in Montreal, so basically people who are close to retirement or are retired, Valérie Plante is leading by 4 points. And so you want to be leading among that demographics. And so even though the overall numbers give Coderre an advantage right now, this really could be a toss-up in a close election.
Is there Is there any room for another candidate to get in here now? On the Big Five this morning, I said it looks like there's no oxygen to breathe for a third candidate. What do you think?
It's always possible. We have to remember, just 8 years ago, Mélanie Joly came out of nowhere and became, and ran second. And Denis Coderre himself has said that if the campaign in 2013 had been 2 weeks longer, maybe Mélanie Joly would have been mayor of Montreal. So it's always possible, but right now you look at the other option is only at 11%. And so you have to remember 4 years ago, the other option had 3% of the vote. So it's really hard to get into this campaign unless there's somebody completely out of left field, somebody known, somebody with an organization. But right now, I think it will be a two-candidate race.
So, Philippe, your brand is it's booming, right? Whether it's the 338 or the QC 125, right? You're commissioning your own polls now. I got to ask you, let's say, could I throw you a few bucks and you could put me in the poll, like, Plante, Coderre, Macos, just to see what would happen?
No, that would be interesting. But we have to be careful not to have a biased sample. We can't ask your listeners then. We have to ask all Montrealers. But, we'll discuss that off air.
Okay, great. Because I'm totally in. I mean, I'm just thinking third party, and
bring it on.
Bring it on. That's right.
Bring it on.
Philippe, we're out of time. It's so much fun talking to you. And, of course, our listeners can read your words on this poll in both Macleans and L'Actualité on both sides of the language border. Thanks so much, Philippe.
Thank you. Have a great day.